Hi, I hope you guys had a fabulous weekend. I know it's Turkey Week, yay! So a whole lot of busyness going on, a whole lot that you guys have to cram into the week and then kind of shift down and make sure you've got everything set up for Thursday. And so I'm just praying that everything goes smoothly, especially if you're traveling. So hold on, I'm just going to adjust this just a little bit. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, that's better. But this is Lunch with Laura. I'm so happy to see you. I'm glad that you were able to spend a little bit of time. And my question is, what do you do if you are, in a situation where your husband walks out on you, you have kids, your husband's been struggling with depression, he's been struggling with thoughts of suicide, and he's just absolutely closed off, and you just go through a period where you're moving in with your mom, with you and your kids, and you're trying to adjust to what's going on in your life, and you have a whole lot of financial uncertainty. You don't know what's going on with your husband, and then all of a sudden you have this kind of breakthrough where he's starting to communicate a little bit better, and he seems like he wants to try to reconcile. What do? He has this kind of back and forth going on. He seems like he's making some moves towards trying to get back together, but, then he kind of withdraws a little bit. What do? And my thoughts are for you to really make sure that your husband is dealing with all the triggers that led him to leave you and abandon you and your kids to begin with. Is he dealing with all the things that led to his depression? Did he gain the skill sets to be able to really deal with the pressures of parenthood and marriage and work and all those things? Isn't the whole reason why he just kind of threw up his hands and left because he didn't have those things in place? He didn't have those skill sets. He didn't have, a way of communicating with you that was healthy. And subsequently, you've suffered. Your kids have gone through a whole bunch of transitions. So have you, and your husband too. And so my thing is he willing to get help? If so, is he just kind of sitting there as a bump on a log and just saying, "Well, I'm here," or is he really with a humble heart there to really split himself open and start digging and really get to the heart of the matter, whether it's something that was implanted in him in childhood, whether it's something that he developed as an adult, whatever the problem is he at a place where he just has an open heart and is willing to really do the hard work to overcome the triggers that he has that he just, he's just going to leave, that he can't deal with the pressure. So if he can't deal with the day-to-day, parenting stuff, I'm not sure how young the kids are, but, if they're still in diapers or, if they're in high school, whatever the challenges are, and whatever the challenges are going to be moving forward, because eventually the baby, if it's not in diapers, it's going to become a teenager, and so, the question is, are you going to put a stick in the revolving door so that he stops, going this, merry-go-round, whereas, okay, he starts to feel better when he's out of the house and he's wooing himself back in the house, he's begging his way back in the house. And then the pressures of everyday life, marriage, kids, work, all those things come bearing down on him, and then he's out the door again. And so you have this revolving door scenario. Are you going to put a stick in that revolving door so that it stops and really deal with the issues that are causing the whole situation to begin with? Is he at a place where he's going to dig in and work hard and really do the things that he needs to do in order to really make this marriage a healthy marriage and make it work, rather than going through the same cycle, keep walking around that same mountain, as Joyce Meyer said. You walk around that same mountain again. You don't want that for yourself. You certainly don't want that for your kids. And that's not going to get your husband to a healthier place if you allow him to continue to do that. He's only going to get to a healthy place where, we just stop the merry-go-round, get off, and get the help, the counseling that he needs. And and again, there's no shame in that. Anybody who knows me, again, you probably heard me say this 1,000 times. It's probably sound like a broken record, but I am such a big proponent. I'm such a big advocate of counseling. It is such a place of freedom and you just dropping the weights that are keeping you from soaring. So I hope that I answered that question. I know it probably wasn't an answer that you were hoping to hear, but it is truly something that you don't want that type of dynamic to continue in your life, and it's not healthy for your kids. And so, I hope that, your husband is at a place where he will get the help. But until then, yeah, I would probably keep things at the status quo. If you're still at your mom's, if you still have that support system around you as your kids are adjusting, and as he's getting help, that's great. But if he decides not to get help, then you're not, constantly moving the kids all around. You have to give them some sense of stability. And so, I would certainly keep things status quo until I would see, really a tremendous amount of progress. And a lot of times, that's not overnight. Your husband usually didn't get to where he is overnight, and so the solution really isn't going to be overnight. Yes, God can do anything. There is the suddenly of God, and that's what I pray for. I pray it doesn't take a long time, but a lot of times the joy is in the journey. God so values the journey, and so I hope that is something that you really think about and meditate on. I know that you love him. I know that you really want things to be back together again. But if the conditions aren't right, then why continue to have your heart broken? Why continue to break your children's hearts? They're so precious, and they don't get a vote, but you do. And so you being an advocate for your kids, if nothing else, and, be an advocate for your kids and have them grow up in, the most healthy household, the most healthy way they can, and limit the amount of negative exposure that they have, even from their dad. They love their dad. I'm not saying that they should never see him, but he should really be working towards getting to a healthier place, especially if he is really dealing with, thoughts of, really deep depression, thoughts of harming himself. And so I hope that you would take that to heart and really look into, start to look into, counseling, even if he won't go. If you certainly would benefit from it, even if you don't have to go long term. You just go and the counselor says, okay, after a few sessions, you're at a much better place and you should be able to function and all that good stuff. And you've really done a lot of healing from the trauma from your marriage. Then that's important. So consider that. Consider individual counseling. I hope that your husband gets individual counseling. And if you're able to get your kids into counseling, that would really be great, type of family counseling. Or if nothing else, if budgets are really tight, and know if you're living with your mom, budgets are really tight, if nothing else, maybe the school counselors at school, if your kids are old enough to go to school, can be a resource for now until you're able to make other arrangements for counseling for them. Try to use as many, or even the church, if they have counseling available. A lot of times, a few people on the pastoral staff will have counseling backgrounds, even if they don't have a official license for it. Any healthy adult who is able to kind of help you to release those trapped emotions is really beneficial, is really helpful. And so I hope that you find that helpful. I know there's, we always want to hope for the best for people, but there's no substitute for hard work, and there's no substitute for the time it takes to do that hard work. So take your time, don't rush into it. Yes, I wish for the best for your husband. I'm rooting for your marriage. I hope that you're able to revive it. You're able to just come back together and reconcile and have the kids back in that family unit that you want so much in your heart. So that's Lunch with Laura. I will see you again on Wednesday. Don't forget, we're doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday now. And I probably will be doing videos on Tuesdays and Thursdays. It just won't be at lunchtime, be more spontaneous. And so we're experimenting with that and see how that goes. So until then, I will see you. Take care.